What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new reaction, and welcome to day number 12 of Reacts. Today, we're talking about trains. I have only ever been on one train, and it is called the dinner train, okay? It is basically a restaurant inside of a train. You get in there, you order, and then the train takes off, and it goes like 3 miles an hour around like this 3-mile circle around town. You basically have like an hour and 25 minutes, something like that, to get your food, eat, and like enjoy the train ride. And it just does a circle. You eat, then you get off when it gets back to the stop. It was very dumb. It was dumb. And that's the only train like I even know about around here. Like, I have no idea where you could get on a train to go anywhere. I really don't. Fun fact, about 2 weeks later, after I was on the dinner train, somebody got murdered on the dinner train. The same one I was on. Straight up murdered, got stabbed. So, yeah. Riding a train is literally a complete foreign topic to me. Like, I don't think I even know somebody that's rode on a train to actually get somewhere, you know? So today, we're gonna be watching 5 ways British and American train travel is different. Like, I know in the UK, it's literally, like, as common as getting in your car to go to the store. But here, I'm telling you, it is just not common at all. But before we get into it, gotta give everybody a shout out that donated on the last video. All super thanks and all donations are going straight to our animal shelter donation at the end of the month, along with a percentage of all the revenue that we make on this channel and on Anna and JT this month. So huge shout out to Katrina Kikokia, sure. Apox, Tanya Rice 3125 with the $5 dono. I appreciate you. Gordon Khanna 411. Paul Kelly. Hey, a Kelly in Wales. What the heck? Are we related? Dad? Blitz Media 2016, Lauren with the 20-pound donation. Thank you so much, Lauren. Martin with the 10-pound donation, and Peter with the 10-pound donation. You guys are absolutely killing it. Thank you guys so much. And we got Emma Barnes. There we go. And Neil Richards with the 5 pounds. Thank you guys so much for all the donations. Y'all are absolutely killing it with the donations. Y'all don't have to donate. Again, watching the videos is plenty. Sharing it with your cousins, girlfriends, great stepdad. That can't even be a thing, but it's gonna be a thing. But to everybody that donates, thank you guys so much. That means so much. And all the fur babies are gonna absolutely appreciate it at the animal shelter. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, drop a like for day number 12 of Reactmas. But other than that, let's get on up into it.
Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to trains. Trains are a fabulous way of...
I hated that sound. That sound effect just... Oh. No, I don't like that.
getting around, especially if you're the sort of person that likes looking at quickly moving trees. And as somebody with fairly extensive experience of train travel in both Britain and America,
It goes that fast?
And as somebody with fairly extensive experience of train travel in both Britain and America...
Yo! I thought trains were just like slow rolling, like they just went like 10 miles an hour at most. Goodness.
I'm here to tell you, as I often am, that both countries throw up many differences. And this is particularly true on train services that span the entire country, as opposed to trains that serve a specific city. And it's each country's national passenger trains that I'll be focusing on today. Now, you've probably heard me mention before that one of the things that I miss the most about living in the United Kingdom is the comprehensive train system that can get you from and to most major towns and cities in the country. For instance...
The only time I see a train around here is when I'm like driving and a train is going through the town and it has traffic stopped and you have to sit there and wait for like 40 minutes. But those ain't even passenger trains, they're cargo trains, so they just have a bunch of random stuff on them, you know? I really, like, besides the dinner train, I don't think I've ever even seen an actual passenger train. It's crazy.
That's how I'd usually return home from Lancaster University on the west coast of England to my hometown of Grimsby on the east coast. And I wasn't alone. It's not entirely unusual for train services of this nature to be completely packed. But all up and down Britain, particularly England, there's quite a cluster of rail lines that are dedicated to passenger travel. And in total, if you were to add all of this up, it comes to about 10,000 miles of rail line.
Dang.
So how does this compare to the United States? Well, the total mileage of train track in the US is about 140,000 miles. However...
Oh. I mean, but come on, America's massive. So that makes sense. But, like, how many of those are actual passenger trains, you know?
Most of that is for freight trains.
See?
And, you know, unless you are Indiana Jones, you're not going to be riding that as a passenger.
I mean, I guess you could.
Instead, the tracks that are used by Amtrak, many of which in fact are owned by the freight lines, come to about 21,000 miles.
Okay.
And you might be thinking, ooh, Lawrence, that's twice the amount of Britain. 21,000 used by Amtrak.
So wait, there's one that don't even go into Kentucky. Look at that. Oh, this one does. Very, very western Kentucky. Like that little sliver has a little train track going through it. See, there's not even one that goes through Kentucky. That's why I haven't seen one. What the heck?
Amtrak, many of which in fact are owned by the freight lines, come to about 21,000 miles. And you might be thinking, ooh, Lawrence, that's twice the amount of Britain. We win, go America.
Nah.
But then you have to consider the fact that the United States is about 40 times larger than the UK. So what's going on there? Well, of course, because of the immense size of the United States, there are many places in the middle of the country where not many people live. So the financial justification for a multi-tiered network of train lines just isn't there. Furthermore, if you want to get from, say, here in Chicago to Seattle, it's just much quicker to fly.
True.
And speaking of speed, the other really major difference between the train services in both countries is just how fast or how slow they go. Now, it's worth saying that neither country offers the kind of speed that you will find in some European countries, as well as Southeast Asia. But
no, I've seen some videos of trains on, like, TikTok. Bro. Those things are crazy. What's it called? Like a bullet train or something? Dude, they just gone. Like, I don't know, it's a blur. It's insane. I don't think you could pay me to get on one of those.
The pace of Amtrak almost makes British trains look like interstellar space travel. In the past year, I've ridden on both Amtrak and the Trans-Pennine Express from Manchester to Grimsby, and there's definitely a notable difference. And that makes sense, because in the UK, most trains get up to 125 miles per hour. In the US, most services run at less than 110 miles per hour. And
they're still going that fast? Oh my goodness. I did not think they went that fast at all. Wow.
Sometimes way less than that, especially since the freight companies own most of the tracks.
Yeah, no, they go like 4 miles an hour. Look at this.
Trains often have to come to a standstill just to let the freight trains go past.
Yep.
Moreover, the United States really only boasts one high-speed rail service in the entire country, and that's the Acela line on the East Coast. And that's because that service is a central hub of major cities like DC, Philadelphia, and New York City.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it does go faster than most of the trains in the United Kingdom. And I say most because we also have an exception, and that exception is the Eurostar. This is the train that takes you from London to Paris, and it can get up to speeds of 186 miles per hour. Now,
you can go from London to Paris on a train? Why did I not think that was possible?
One thing, having faster trains, but how many people actually use them? Anecdotally, before I look this up, I would say substantially more people use the train in Britain than they do in the US.
Oh, yeah.
One reason I say that is that any time I ever rode a British train, it always seemed like it was packed to the rafters. Do trains have rafters? They do now. But then when I thought about it, the same is often true with American trains. So what is the data on this? Well, if we were to look at the years prior to the pandemic, the number of passengers that you would see on an annual basis in the United States is roughly 30 million. Whereas in the UK, that number is a staggering 1.7 billion. So what?
Oh. I was about to say, that's a lot. 30 million people use it. Yeah, that's decent. Billion? Yo. That is crazy. But, I mean, that makes sense, because there's a lot of people that take the train to and from work every day, which just seems like something out of a movie to me. Saying, hey, I gotta go catch the train to get to work. Like, is this Harry Potter? Or are we living in Harry Potter right now, What
are the reasons for this? Well, a large reason is population density. Britain simply has way more people per square mile than the United States.
True.
So this means that in Britain there's just a greater demand for people to get from one point of the country to the other. The other is automobiles. I mean, the United States has such a vast and comprehensive interstate highway system that trains, behind also planes, are far down in the pecking order. And because of this, there's also a massive difference between how frequently trains run in America versus Britain. Take, for example, the 4 to 7 hour train journey between Chicago and Indianapolis. If for whatever reason you're running late and you happen to miss the train, it's no problem, just wait and catch another one the next day. That
Oh.
wasn't genuine advice, because I don't know how refunds work for that. But in Britain, owing to the greater demand, train services run multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Not only that, they're always packed. But in 2022, if the same thing happened in the United States, where trains were running from Chicago to Indianapolis several times a day, there'd be a lot of empty seats. People would sooner drive because it's just so much quicker, although you do have to take I-65. So because of the relative...
Oh, no, not 65. Oh. See, that'd be where I'd want to get on a train, is if I have to go somewhere and there's those big old highways, you know, like the 6, 7, 8, 10 lane highways. Yeah, count me out. I'm good. Put me on a train. I will, yeah. Even though it might take twice as long, I would rather do that. See, I didn't know our trains only ran like once a day. I thought like if we had a train service, it would be kind of like similar to the UK where it would have multiple run times, or at least like multiple trains doing the same. Or can you even do that? Can you do multiple trains on the same track? Probably not, right? That's probably a recipe for something bad, but I don't know.
Limitations of American train travel. Does this mean that it's cheaper to travel by Amtrak than it is by the trains in the UK? And the answer to that is an absolutely resounding sort of. You see, it's quite hard to make a comparison because ticket prices fluctuate on either side of the pond. But in the United States, I'd say you get a bigger bang for your buck if we're talking about the amount you pay per mile of track that you travel. And this might not be surprising to my British viewers. After all, it is famously expensive to travel on British trains.
Yeah.
And some might take the view of, oh, Lawrence, isn't that just British people moaning again? Well, no, apparently, according to a study, the average cost of a UK train ticket is about 30% more expensive than other European countries. Let's say you buy a single ticket from London to Edinburgh. At the speeds that that train goes at, the journey time is about 4.5 hours. And just looking on the National Rail site this morning, you could be expected to pay for that single ticket between $100 and $200 US. Could be even higher than that on other days. It's hard to say. Now let's look at a single ticket for Chicago to Seattle, which takes, and I'm not making this up, 46 hours. So almost
2 days? Huh?
Entire days on a train. But here's the plot twist. According to Amtrak's website, $150 to $250. But you are on the train for 10 times as long, thus getting more of their service. Of course, when it comes to this, you'd rather get from Chicago to Seattle much faster, hence the price disparity.
I have seen people, like, take train rides across the country, and it looks like a vacation in itself. Like, they have, like, the sleeper rooms. Like, you have your own bed, your own room. They have breakfast, lunch, and dinner for you. Like a bar, they have a car that has just, like, games and stuff in it. Like, it's pretty much like a hotel on wheels. I have seen people do that, and that, like... okay, that would be fun, but being on there for like a week straight, I would probably go crazy, you know?
But now that I've cut through the data, what's it actually like to ride on these passenger trains? And honestly, despite its limitations, I quite like riding on Amtrak. It's comfortable, decent, if pricey catering service, internet access, outrageous views of the American landscape. And I think you can more or less take everything I just said and apply it to Britain. The only major difference I can think of, other than the ones that I pointed out in this video, is, and this is anecdotal, I think you're more likely to get a table seat on British trains than you are Amtrak. But I don't have any data to back that up, just experience.
See, I feel like a train ride here in America is more of a trip in itself. Like, you go, the train ride is kind of the trip here in America. Like, in the UK, you're taking the train ride to get to whatever you're going to do, right? The train ride in America is the thing you're doing because it takes so much longer, and they have like all the amenities and stuff. So I don't know. It's weird. But the fact that they're so different is crazy.
And that's British versus American train travel in a nutshell. When I first moved to the US, I had no idea that its train network wasn't as comprehensive or as fast as the United Kingdom. And I've only gotten used to that idea by understanding why and accepting Amtrak for the beautiful, leisurely thing that it is.
Well, now I want to go ride on a train. I should go do like a 2 or 3 day train trip. I think it'd be sick. But alright guys, that is going to do it for today's reaction. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. How many of y'all ride the train every day? Let me know. If y'all want to see more reactions like this, let me know by hitting that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you go out today, spread love, spread kindness, do something nice in my day. I love you guys so much, really do. JTReacts, I'm out. Peace.